Hello there! We are here with another review, finally! Yay!
Finally Flip City.
Finally Flip City and finally review. At least something, you know? So yeah, what's this game about?
This game is deck builder, city builder. In this
Push your lucker game where basically you build up a city and sometimes you take too much money, too many taxes, and people are unhappy and you get nothing. The people will riot, sort of.
Yeah.
But it's really
like,
an abstracted
yeah.
theme. So let's check out how does it sort of play. Flip City is played fairly simply. It's a deck builder with push-your-luck elements. You have starting cards in your hands. You form a deck out of them. You basically shuffle them and form a deck out of them. And then you will just start taking out the cards from the deck one by one if you want to continue, or if the card says that you must continue, and so on. So as you can see here, let's take a look at the this is the central market where you can buy cards, and let's take a look at the card's anatomy. So basically, this is the cost of the cards. You need to pay that cost to get the card into your hand. And this is the coin value that you will get when you play the cards. And you can use these coins to buy cards or flip them. And this is the flipping action, which means that you can flip this card for that many coins when it's in your discard pile in order to make it a sort of a better card. And on the other hand, as you can see, so you can also get the victory points out from the cards when you play them. And this is the recycle icon, which means that you can use this card when it's in your discard pile and sort of recycle it by turning it again on a basic side, but you will gain a bonus for that. And every card has a sort of a special ability, although this one is more of that winning condition special ability, which says here, if you play 18 or more cards in this turn, you win. Playing all 18 cards in one turn isn't so easy as you might think. And this is one of the conditions. The other conditions, if you manage to get up to 8 victory points on one turn when you play cards. That's the other condition. So these are two winning conditions. But now, what about the turn? Your turn starts when you are just pulling cards one by one and deciding if you want to pull more of them. But some cards, like for example the residential area, say that when residential area is the top card of a deck, you must play it. So you must play this one, which means you must play another residential area. If for some reason you will end up with more than 2 unhappy faces, which are these, on your turn ends immediately and you cannot do anything anymore. You're busted, basically. That's the push-your-luck element. You want to go as far as you basically want, but be careful, you can get into a residential area and then you have to play it and you will get too many unhappy faces. And that's basically the game. You will use the coins to buy new cards into your deck, and you will use the coins to flip these cards in your discard pile. The third option, by the way, is to buy the card and flip it right away. It's called developing action, which means that, for example, for 4 + 4, for 8 coins, I can buy this card from the central pile, from the sort of, let's say, market pile, and flip it right away. But it will go into my discard pile like in every deck builder. So, and let me show you a little bit of these special abilities. For example, the hospital has the ability that when I play it, then I gain 1 coin on that turn for every unhappy face that's out there in my play area, which is good, but on the other hand, the hospital itself gives you 1 unhappy face. The factory says if I play factory in my turn, I must discard the bottom card of my deck. For example, the convenience store says if I have 18 or more cards out on my turn, then I win the game. And apartments gives me an unhappy face. And when I flip apartment in my discard pile, I will flip it and give it as a residential area to my opponent's deck, which means I will make his life harder with that one. And there are some others, like Central Park just gives you victory points, but you can buy one additional time. So basically on your turn, you will do only one action. You will either buy a card from the center or flip or develop, which means buying and flipping all at once. So you just do one. Such cards give you additional buy, and the other side of Central Park gives you additional flip actions. And these are the different ones. So this is basically, oh, by the way, the off is really cool. I'm going to show it for you. So when you shuffle your discard pile, whenever you are out of cards from in your deck, you will shuffle your discard pile. And when shuffling, you can leave office out and then put office on top of your newly made pile, newly made deck, and start playing with the office, which is really cool. And the other side is trade center, which is basically you can use this card as a bonus, one-time bonus, to get rid of one unhappy face and flip it back to your office. But Flip City has only a few of these decks in the base game and two more, which is in the expansion Recycle. It's Flea Market. And the Flea Market is that you can basically leave this card in the discard pile and use it as an extra coin. Like you flip it, use it as a one bonus extra coin. When you flip it to Recycle bin, later you can basically pay, and it doesn't cost you basically a flip action. You can pay one coin to flip it back to Flea Market in the same discard pile to basically use it again. So this is a discard pile card, really useful in there if you want to get a coin, and later if you don't have to use the coins for anything else, you can flip it back. So, and in more efficient turns, you can use that extra coin. And the other is the Plumber Shop. It costs 3, gives you an happy face, but gives you 2 coins as well, which is quite good. And you will choose and discard the top or the bottom card from all opponents' decks. So it's basically if you see that your opponent has really cool cards on top of his deck, and you play this card, you will screw him up a little bit. And the other side is a renewal agency, where it gives you 3 coins, but gives you 3 coins only when you do the flip action or the develop action, which means buying and flipping all at once. So, and of course, one coin bonus. So these are the 2 extra decks that the mini expansion, I call it mini expansion, gave you. I want to see more of them here, but that's basically the whole game. And let's go to the final thoughts. So you have seen how the gameplay works, and now we want to share some thoughts with you about the game.
We're going to start with mandatory components and artwork. Components of this game are amazing. Ilja doesn't agree with me, but I feel that the cards are not purely paper, but they are kind of half plastic or something. The way you make like the playing game, the playing cards, plastic, half plastic and paper. So these feel like half plastic. Mm-hmm. This is the only deck builder game that we have that is not sleeve, that doesn't actually need sleeves, because all the rest deck builders, the ones that you shuffle a lot, we always sleeve like right away. Mm-hmm. This one doesn't need that. It's like the quality.
I was feeling the same, that each time I shuffle these cards, I feel like they are sturdy, and I will not ruin them by shuffling them a lot, because you shuffle in this game a lot. So that's really cool. And I, as a card game lover, like big quality cards. And the box itself fits everything. It's a sturdy box. It's a small box that you can carry in, not in your pocket, of course, in your purse. But in your purse, somewhere, or in a small bag.
And artwork is really neat. I like it. So it's like this artwork is clearly Asian style, let's say. Mm-hmm. And if you put the cards together, it actually forms the city.
Really?
So yes, all the streets go together. So this is like a tiny little extra. Mm-hmm. That it's given. I like, this is my type of art completely.
This art reminds me of another city. So it's sort of a city building game. It's a deck builder more, but it reminds me of Quadropolis, where you have the same style of that app art or game art, app game art. So this one is similar to that one. So, but let's talk about the mechanics. And it has the push your luck and deck builder. deck builder is easy. You're gonna just buy cards into your deck. And I like how the push your luck element works. You are basically not flipping, but playing cards one by one. And at some point you think like, should I risk or not? Should I risk and maybe I will get extra unhappy faces and end my turn immediately, which drives me, of course, to the random factor as well, where your turn can end immediately with you doing nothing on your turn, and it's frustrating.
You can put like 14 cards and gathering like 11 coins already to get something really
you want to
good.
do big.
And then you're getting that additional frowny face and you're done. You don't get to do anything.
That might be a negative for some people who don't like when they cannot do anything on their turn, but it's a small card game, so for us it doesn't feel as frustrating.
No, I actually, for me it's not frustrating at all. For me it's a good game, a good thing in the game, because this is the one that gives you attention, that gives you like that, like, shall I do, shall I not? So this is, for me, is kind of like the main thing I like about it. But I can understand how some people won't.
Yeah, and it, as I already mentioned, it plays quite short.
Yeah.
So I don't know, not really short. It's not
it's quick, short game.
Half an hour
maybe. Written here, 30 to 50 minutes. It's definitely not 50 minutes.
We played with 2 players, so
and it actually plays really good with 2.
Yeah,
like
as every deck builder.
Are really quick. Yeah, just perfect filler type where you can actually they can waken you up with that tension moments.
I would say filler plus, because it's not completely filler type. It has a little bit more of that gamer's game in it.
It's a gamer's filler.
Gamer's filler, sort of that.
Filler doesn't have to be a game where you don't think at all. It's just
short. But still, it's like a filler plus for me. It's a little bit more. It takes half an hour, maybe 40 minutes to play, so it feels a little bit bigger than the filler for me.
Yeah, for me it feels completely filler. Each time I finish, I want to play again. I want to play again. I feel the urge to play Flip City kind of constantly.
But what do you feel about the icons?
Yes, well, if we have to like give a mandatory, like a bad thing about the game, the only thing I would mention, I'm not sure if it's like bad, but each time we play, first of all, I have to remind about the icons. There are flip icons and there are recycle icons. So they're like a different, like arrows go up and arrow goes down. So I have to kind of constantly remind what one or another does. I get confused, but this is kind of 3 minutes before the game.
Yeah,
it's definitely like a minor thing.
Maybe because I read all the rules and I have read the rules for Flip City as well. So I'm not so confused about the arrows. I just remember that. But I can understand that some people need to constantly look at those icons and look at those arrows and how they go. So if this arrow is here, then it works this way in the discard pile. If this arrow is there, it works the other way in the discard pile. This one gives you bonuses, this you need to pay. So they're sort of the same, like almost the same icon for 2 completely different actions. I think it would be better if they would have done a different shape. Not like 2 arrows, but maybe a green arrow.
Different arrows. Yeah. The different colors.
Yeah, I don't know. Green arrow, different colors, but green arrow and then something else for the flipping cost.
But that's like really minor.
Yeah. So as we already told you, this game has some random elements in it, but everything else that you see in the core box is the same. It has the perfect information. It doesn't have any extra that you can throw in.
Yeah, and you can actually check what is in your discard pile to know, like for example, I feel that my deck is really thin and I need to know if I have, like, what is the risk for me to get like one more frowny face. So you can play without ability to look at the discard pile. We still do. It's like super quick. Usually we just look for 1 or 2 cards.
We look for the residential area that I was talking about.
And like that's only card we're actually usually looking in the discard pile, and I like that much more. Not just trying to remember, but it gives more control of information. Yeah, and less random in that case.
And maybe if I would tell It's not a negative, but like sort of for me, is that this game needs more decks badly, and yeah.
I don't agree.
The base game. I mean,
I felt completely fine with the base game because each deck has two sides, and there are lots of cards where we really use another side, or you just don't get there. And I felt that I could play this game a lot more times before I would need expansion.
I want more variability. Even if you have a, for example, residential area apartment, this is basically the same card, and when you play it, the board itself feels like not much. So that's one thing.
But the expansion gives two more decks, and it fits in the base game box, which is definitely good thing.
Although I don't know if it fits if you sleeve the cards, but you shouldn't sleeve the cards anyway.
Yeah, why should you?
Yeah, and these are really cool cards. Yeah, some people were rather sad about that expansion added only 2 more decks.
No, I'm fine.
I'm fine with it too, but I would still love to see even more expansions. I would love to see like 4 extra decks at least.
And we were using those 2 additional decks quite a lot. Like as soon as they got introduced with
in the first game, no, we didn't use the 2 extra cards. You used that, definitely. Yes, maybe both. Me not, but in the second game, I used them much more. I could it clicked with me. I could understand the strategy of using them.
Yeah.
So they're really cool. The expansions are much cooler after the second game when you understand why they're needed. So this is the reuse expansion. So overall, I like this game quite much. I like how a small box fits quite a normal size game, I would say. This is filler plus, and it's a deck builder with push your luck, and I like that light feel, although if I get frustrated sometimes when I end my turn with nothing, I still know
it's your own fault. Push your luck.
Yeah, but I still feel fine because I know that then it will be Alina's turn. She will do her turn fast, and maybe she will screw up, and then it's my turn again, and then next turn I'm gonna play it even better, you know.
It's completely like how you decide. Do you want to push your luck as far as possible and get one big action, like lots of coins, or I'm usually the cautious player, so I usually play like 2 cards, flip the one, something like a cheap and short. So I guess these are just different strategies.
Yeah. So should we go to the ratings of this game? Or you want to say something else?
I guess I'll say one last word. I don't know why, but I kind of fell in love with the game. This is one of 2 games that each time I see in the shop, I feel like buying. Although we already have it. Although there is no one who we could give it as a gift, but each time I see Flip City, I feel like, we should buy, because I just love it so much. It's
a family-friendly game. There's not much of that, too much of the interaction, too much of the nasty things, except that you just put the residential area into other players.
That's quite nasty, but it costs you quite a lot.
Yes, it costs a lot. It's nasty, not in the way that I ruined your turn, I destroyed your card. It's more of that.
It just makes your deck worse.
Yes, a little bit, one more happy face. So yeah, let's go to our final dice ratings.
Yep. I give this game 10 dice out of 10.
Fanboy! I give this game 7.5 dice out of 10.